Something exploded over Siberia with the force of a nuclear weapon. The blast flattened an area of forest larger than a major city. 80 million trees were knocked down, windows shattered hundreds of kilometres away. The shockwave circled the planet, and yet, no crater was ever found, no weapon, no meteorite fragments large enough to explain the destruction. Only a silent, devastated wilderness. To this day, more than a century later, the Tunguska explosion remains one of the strangest natural disasters in modern history, because something hit Earth that morning, something powerful enough to level a forest, but whatever it was, it left almost nothing behind. Witnesses across remote Siberian settlements reported seeing something unusual in the sky, a brilliant object streaking across the morning horizon, brighter than the sun, travelling fast. Some described it as a ball of fire, others saw a growing column trailing smoke. The object moved silently at first, then came a sound like distant thunder. Moments later, the world exploded. The explosion occurred high above the Tunguska River basin. A fireball erupted in the sky. The shockwave slammed downward into the forest below. Trees snapped like matchsticks, branches were stripped clean, animals were thrown to the ground. Hundreds of kilometres away, windows shattered in towns. People were knocked off their feet. Some reported feeling intense heat across their faces as though standing too close to a furnace. But the strangest part came afterward. When the sky went quiet again, the forest had simply fallen. When explorers later surveyed the damage, the scale was astonishing. Over 2,000 square kilometres of forest had been flattened. Trees lay pointed outward from a central point, like spokes from a wheel. But near the centre, something strange appeared. Some trees still stood upright, their branches burned away, their trunks charred, but they had not fallen. The pattern suggested something powerful had exploded above ground, not at the surface, not underground, but in the air itself. Despite the scale of destruction, no immediate scientific investigation took place. The Tunguska region was incredibly remote. Dense forest, swampy ground, few roads, few permanent settlements. Reaching the site required weeks of travel. Russia at the time was also facing political upheaval. Revolution loomed. Scientific resources were limited, so the greatest explosion in recorded natural history went largely unexamined for nearly 20 years. Until the 1920s that a Russian scientist named Leonid Kulik led the first proper expedition. Kulik expected to find a massive meteorite crater. He brought equipment to recover fragments. What he found instead was deeply puzzling. There was no crater, no large meteorite pieces, no obvious impact site, just a vast area of flattened forest, as though something had detonated in midair and vanished. Scientists began proposing explanations. The most widely accepted theory today is that a meteor entered Earth's atmosphere at a tremendous speed. Instead of striking the ground, it exploded mid-air, an airburst. The energy released could equal several megatons of TNT, powerful enough to flatten forests without leaving a crater. But not everyone was convinced, because certain details didn't quite fit. Days following the explosion, strange phenomena were reported across Europe and Asia. The night sky glowed unusually bright. People in London were able to read newspapers outdoors at midnight without artificial light. Scientists recorded unusual atmospheric disturbances. Dust particles had spread high into the atmosphere. Something massive had exploded in the sky, yet the absence of physical debris continued to puzzle researchers. Over the decades, more unusual theories appeared. Some suggested a small comet made mostly of ice, which vaporized completely during the explosion. Others speculated about natural gas eruptions igniting in the atmosphere. A few proposed far stranger explanations: an alien spacecraft exploding in midair, a secret weapon test, even a miniature black hole passing through Earth. Most scientists dismiss these ideas, but the mystery persists because no single theory explains every detail perfectly. Modern research strongly supports the airburst meteor theory. Computer simulations match the blast pattern almost perfectly. The growth analysis shows the forest recovering after a massive atmospheric shockwave, and small microscopic mineral fragments have been found embedded in soil, evidence of extraterrestrial material. But the Tunguska event remains unique. No other explosion of this scale in recorded history has left so little physical evidence behind. Today, the Tunguska forest looks peaceful. Trees have regrown, animals roam freely. Nothing in the landscape hints at the catastrophe that once occurred above it. But the event remains a warning, because the object that exploded over Tunguska was relatively small, perhaps only 50 metres across. If a similar object entered Earth's atmosphere above a major city today, the destruction would be unimaginable. The forest survived, a city might not. And somewhere in space right now, objects like that are still moving silently toward Earth.